Everyone, welcome to Broadband News. So, fiber vendor manufacturer DZS has filed for bankruptcy. In fact, it's Chapter 7 bankruptcy, so their assets will be liquidated. So this is going to present some challenges, maybe some uncertainty for fiber operators that have deployed their equipment. So I'll be back with more about that, as well as one possible solution for them. See you in just a moment. Hey, thanks for joining me. Rick Husey here with Quorum with Broadband News. So this was news, I think it was yesterday, came out. So you see here, DZS files for Chapter 7 protection. This is from their website, press release up there. So let me get rid of this, get back down here. Oops, sorry. There we go. So I was going to read through this a little bit. So we see here, again, this is their press release. It's with utmost disappointment that we share that DZS was unable to secure the necessary working capital from either its current lender or any prospective lenders to sustain the business going forward. And I had heard some rumors from various places that they might be having some issues related to the business and maybe what customers are hearing. So this was not a surprise. It might be for some folks, but I'd heard some things about this, kind of some rumblings. As a result, on Friday, March 14th, the company commenced a liquidation proceeding under Chapter 7 of the United States Bankruptcy Code. All U.S. operations ceased and all U.S. employees were terminated as of the time of the Chapter 7 filings. That's always difficult for folks there that work there. The company's foreign subsidiaries, including those in Germany, the United Kingdom, and Australia, may continue to exist outside of the U.S. liquidation. A Chapter 7 trustee will be appointed soon to control the liquidation process in the United States and evaluate how to proceed with foreign subsidiaries and affiliates. So, when a company files for Chapter 11, the thought is that they're going to reorganize, puts things on hold with creditors. A lot of that is decided on who gets what, if anything, and then the company reorganizes, they reemerge, and they try to keep the business going after that. But when you do Chapter 7, it's basically saying we give up. Creditors, stockholders, employees in this case, kind of are all out of luck. So they are filing for Chapter 7. And again, it says here subsidiaries, so that's in the U.S., and then they've got these foreign subsidiaries, and so it remains to be seen what happens there. So subsidiaries and affiliates outside of the U.S. will experience near-term business disruption with day-to-day operations, which will include various IT, for example, Outlook, email, and other software programs. So I guess that might mean maybe some of that was all handled by corporate somewhere else here in the U.S. maybe, and that's going to be some disruption there. Please be patient as the trustee assesses the situation and in the manner in which to proceed, whether it will be a going concern sale, administration under applicable local law, order liquidation, or some other path. So again, the Chapter 7 trustee will determine what happens with the U.S. operations, and also will be, looks like here, evaluating what's going to maybe be the future of the foreign subsidiaries. During the company's 25-year zone, DZS developed industry-leading broadband access and connectivity solutions that today enable high-speed, secure, and reliable internet access services to many service providers around the world. So these guys, so they started as Zone in 1999, and I was looking back at their history, and it's interesting because coming from that far back and further, this really dates me. But for those of you that have been in this business for that long, you will recognize the name. So it was started by a couple of people that had been with Ascend Communications way back when. And I remember Ascend Communications was back in the days of dial-up internet. They made, at first, when we first started in the business back years ago, when we started, when it was America.net, and that was how we got started, we had dial-up service for the Atlanta area, and it was modems, 14.4 modems stacked on top of each other. So they were just a bunch of modems and connected to the phone company, and people dialed into those modems, and we had a access concentrator that all those modems plugged into. But later, they made boxes that had the modems and all of that stuff together. And Ascend was one of those. There was Ascend, and there was Lucent, was another one that made these boxes of modems. Basically, it was one big box that had the cards in there instead of separate modems. So there was Ascend. Two people from Ascend and Lucent also invested in this. So that was back in 1999, and that was as Zone, Z-H-O-N-E. They acquired Paradigm in 2005. That was another company that caught my eye. Paradigm was another modem vendor and also provided DSL equipment. So they were another vendor that they had acquired. In 2016, they merged with DZS. So you had Zone, and then they merged with DZS. That was another vendor. And they became, what was it? DZS Zone Solutions, Inc., I think. So it was DZSI back in 2016. And then in 2020, new CEO came on board, and they just rebranded the company to DZS. And that's kind of the last name. That was the name change. And then from there, it was DZS. So that was kind of their history in a nutshell. Over the past nearly 2 years, the company has been balancing its technology initiatives while optimizing operating expenses and securing the necessary working capital to stabilize the business. Please know that the company has been working with extreme urgency to obtain a new working capital facility that would maintain the business and has otherwise been evaluating all possible strategic alternatives. Unfortunately, we've not been successful in those efforts. And it would be a difficult time for any vendor that was struggling, because you had the issue with the pandemic, where there were supply chain issues and there was a buildup of inventory, those kinds of things that were going on there. And then you had BEAD, which was great news for fiber vendors, but then there was that long delay, and we still haven't seen any of that yet. As far as a lot of equipment orders, we've just barely got some subgrantees now that know they're getting money, so there's still a delay on that. So that's something that could not pull them out of this. As a result of the Chapter 7 asset liquidation process, the company is hopeful that its market-leading broadband access, connectivity, and cloud software solutions are acquired and customers and suppliers are restored. So they're hoping to sell this off, and I don't know. I have no thoughts as to whether that will be successful, because again, you've got out there Nokia, you've got Adtran, you've got Calix, you've got other fiber vendors in other parts of the world that are very prevalent. So whether somebody wants to pick up DZS, maybe one of those companies wants to pick it up to see if they could maybe get some customers from that. I don't think you'd find a new. I don't see you finding a new owner that would just operate this. I would think it would have to be picked up by somebody that already has it, but I don't know that for sure. The company expects that employees, creditors, customers, and other interested parties will receive a notice of bankruptcy filing from the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Eastern District of Texas with additional information, including the identity of the Chapter 7 trustee and their contact information. So that's where that is. And a quick plug here before I go on, because I mentioned that there's a possible solution here for service providers that are kind of concerned about what happens now, because one of the things with fiber is that quite often when you buy a fiber solution and you're activating those fiber devices, that activation software is something that's provided as a proprietary piece of software that's provided by the fiber vendor. So, if you have, and that's a real pain for some operators. That's why sometimes they only have one set of equipment in their operation, because it's like, well, if we get another set of equipment, then how are we going to activate those? How do we do the two together? That kind of thing. So, we actually have a solution for that, which is also a solution for this situation that DZS customers and even those that have Zone equipment, the older stuff, a solution for them. So if you go to our website and you look under products, it's easier to find. So if you go under products and go down here to Fiber View, you'll see this page will come up. So Fiber View is actually a GPON provisioning and activation system. So it's service activation for fiber, and it's multi-vendor. So again, this is something where if you've got more than one fiber vendor, whether maybe you've got Nokia and Calix together, or you've got Huawei. If you can't get that here in the United States, but if that's very popular in other areas of the world, this actually supports that stuff. So go to this website. You'll see actually what we do support. So you'll see some of these names. If you're here in the United States, you're like, what? I don't recognize these. But a lot of these platforms are used internationally, and also internationally, a lot of operators will use multiple platforms. So this is great for them because they don't need to worry about how they're going to activate all these different systems. Basically, it's one application, one interface that you go in and you can activate fiber devices. You can manage those devices. So you see here, you've got some of these, again, like you might not recognize, BDCom, obviously Galaxy 7, and here again, DZS. So all of the V-Series of DZS you'll see are served here, DZS V-Series. So DZS and DZS. Then you got other ones, again, that you might not hear of a lot. Eltex, Fiber Home. Again, Huawei is very well known. Can't get it here in the United States because of security concerns, but it is used in other parts of the world. King type, you'll see that one a lot overseas. Of course, Nokia FX and DF series, that's a well-known one. VSOL, and then ZTE, another one that a lot of people know about, ZTE. So those are all platforms or vendor equipment that we can support. And then you see it's got monitoring as well. So, you can pull up and get the status of all of the OLTs. You can drill in and get more information. You can go in and change a customer's Wi-Fi password or their SSID, which is very helpful. So, and that's because it's got an integrated ACS. So the ACS provides kind of zero-touch provisioning. You don't need to go in and configure stuff. Basically, the ACS will automate a lot of that for you. So you plug device in, and it, as long as you've got the information in the system, it will automatically bring the customer up. So, so you can see some of what it does here: a GPON module, a mobile module. There's a product sheet up here, case study. So, yeah, check that out if you are in a situation where you've got DZS and want to know about a solution for activating your devices. And not just, again, here, this is important, not just the DZS and zone stuff, but if you do have that, and if the future does not look good for those products, then this gives you a pathway to migrate to other services, other vendors, because of the fact that it does support so many different vendors. So you could start with your DZS, zone, DASAN stuff, and then if you add something like a Nokia, or if you're in another country like Huawei, but probably not. But let's say here in the United States, if you could add Nokia or Calix, and then start using the same system to basically manage and activate all of those platforms. And again, you could add multiple platforms and still use the one FiberView instance that you've got. So I wanted to give a quick plug for that. This is kind of where the stock has been for all I could get was, this is all. So this goes back to, what is this? This is 2003. Looks like, wow, it was trading at $100, is that right? $172. So who knows what was going on back then? What here is up to $184. So that was way back then. And then you can see it was basically on a declining path most of that time. We're down here to, this is, looks like about 2008, 2009, the switch over there was the low point at that point. And the low point at that point was $3.25. So that was quite a fall during that time, but started coming back up a little bit right here. This is about, this is November 2013. That kind of peaked back up here. There's you can see a lot of trading activity. And then again, kind of heading down. A lot of, and this is about the time, this 2016, this is about the time that they merged when Zone merged with DASAN. And you don't see a whole lot of change there. So this was that period of time. And then again, kind of ups and downs, kind of trading around the, this is $5, $4, $5, there's $8 there. Here's down to $4 again. This is up to $16 or so. And then at this point, this is, what's this date? This is January 2023. So, at this point, it's just a long, painful slide as we get down here under $1 as we get to September 2024. So, like I say, there was a lot of, kind of, you could see it coming. So it was no surprise for those that have been kind of watching the industry here. As far as equipment, so they do have, this is the DZS equipment. This thing keeps popping up. There we go. So you got different chassis. This is their V2 2-slot chassis, 6-slot chassis, their V6, V14 14-slot chassis, so named as you might expect, and then their V16 and another 16-slot chassis. Wow, that's a lot. Looks not that much bigger, I guess. So that's what you've got when you look up chassis OLTs, and they've got a, what is this here? This is a 1U OLT access switch. So they've got these V16. So you can see these just like a one rack unit right there on those. A few other things here. So all of this, these all say V, so I believe we support all of these within FiberView if you happen to have one of these. Then also another one that we support, I think we support this and others, that this is older zone equipment, this MXK stuff. So that I believe is supported as well. So just letting you know that is something available again if you happen to be in this situation where you've got this equipment and are trying to figure out what to do with that. So anyway, Unfortunate news for those that have DZS and work at DZS. That's always sad when something like this happens. But we'll have to see what happens with the Chapter 7 stuff. Maybe somebody will pick it up. We just don't know. And if they do, then things may be fine in the future. Or there'll still be disruptions, and that's something right now that, again, if you're concerned about disruptions, you could. Even if DZS continues to live on, you could get a solution like FiberView, and it actually would probably help you, maybe more so than what you have today, just because of the features that are in there. And then also the flexibility that it gives you, because it does give you flexibility to deploy other fiber platforms without being stuck with DZS or any vendor. That's the whole reason it was developed. So thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Give me a like on the video if this was helpful or interesting to you. And if you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button. Make sure you ring the bell and you will be notified when I'm live. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.